Space Coconut.
Okay, so surprisingly, a lot of you wanted me to share this thought with you. And the idea is why Escape from Tarkov is a better horror game than Dead by Daylight. But before I get into this, I wanted to encourage you to come and follow me on Mixer. I stream every Saturday from now on. The times are still kind of up in the air. Usually I push it closer to the later in the afternoon, like 5 p.m., 3 p.m., something around there. If you want to know exactly when, you can follow me on Twitter. I'll post a note of it on the YouTube community tab. So check those out if you're interested in seeing me stream and play Hag and all these other killers live. Eventually, if I feel like I'm good enough, we'll do some Tarkov. But for right now, I'm just embarrassing myself. But with that out of the way, let me share this thought with you. I like survival games. I like the idea behind Escape from Tarkov. I felt like it was a lot like Rust without the building, which I was very excited about. I had heard about Escape from Tarkov years ago, but at the time it was just a shooter, and I've never really been into shooters because I'm very, very terrible. Long story short, I jumped into it because Dead by Daylight is really... Dead by Daylight has its issues, and everybody knows that. And if I force myself to play a game, it's only going to end in misery, right? So I got into Tarkov. It seemed exciting, something new, something different that I usually don't play, which was kind of like what Dead by Daylight was when I moved from Skyrim and MMOs and RPGs and things like that. And Escape from Tarkov, you are a dude, right? And you buy your gear. You earn your gear. You earn money. You buy the gear. You take that into a raid, and if you die, you lose all of your stuff. You come back to your thing, you're injured, and you kind of have to start from zero again, depending on what you have saved up. The risk there for a bad player like myself, it instills a great deal of fear in the game. And the interesting thing is, like, there's no music during a raid. All you get are the natural sounds and the sounds that other players make. That's it. There's none of this creepy music. There's none of this ambient stuff that they try and force on the game to make it be scary. Because, okay, Tarkov and Dead by Daylight are two very, very different games. What I'm discussing here is Dead by Daylight is supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be a horror game. It's in the horror genre. So you should be scared, right? It should be scary. Tarkov is more scary. That's kind of the point we're getting here. And yes, they're two different games, but what we're talking about is how they make the player feel. Dead by Daylight, there is no fear. There's no risk. There are no times where any player who has even a reasonable amount of time in this game, where their heart rate will increase, where their palms might get sweaty, where they get nervous about where those sounds are coming from. There's no point. There's no point where any player I've seen recently that feels that way when they play Dead by Daylight. And in a game like Tarkov, I've been watching Shroud, and he plays that, and I guess he's a really good shooter guy. And all of the other players, streamers, YouTubers who make content for Escape from Tarkov, there's a guy, Diddley Slob, I think, has like 4,000 hours in this game, and he still gets scared. He still gets, his heart racing when he's in a situation. He can fight his way out, and he's good. But for a player like me, what ends up happening is I hear footsteps and I get terrified. I almost freeze. I can barely control my mouse to take shots. And it's fearful because I have this risk, I have this weight that if I don't survive, if I don't take this player out, or if I don't, hide well or whatever, I'm going to die and I'm going to lose all of my stuff. If I lose enough times, I'm going to have a pretty difficult time getting back up from zero. Now, some of these guys, they, run with their hatchets, and they go in with nothing and come out with stuff by raiding other people, but they're much better at the game than me. And so this is kind of what Dead by Daylight is missing. No matter how scary the killer is designed to be, no matter what it looks like, the game itself is not scary. There is no element of risk. There's no... Well, I guess this leads into another point. To survive in Escape from Tarkov is exceedingly rewarding. There's a great deal of satisfaction in reaching the extraction point and getting out, because, you know, I personally, my ranking is very, very low. But in Dead by Daylight, a survivor escapes, and it's one of the easiest. It's, you know, escaping for a survivor isn't difficult. It's really not. If you have the tools available, you're probably going to escape. In Escape from Tarkov, everybody has the same tools, and it just depends on your skill whether you get out or not. That's, you know, something that can never be the same between the two games, but the feeling of accomplishment in getting out is greatly different. There's no way for Dead by Daylight to be able to come back and change the game as a whole, to be able to instill fear and satisfaction in the players. Unfortunately, the devs... I read somewhere in the forums that the devs designed the game to handhold the survivors. And I've had that same thought for a very, very long time, that escaping for a survivor and wanting everybody to have fun and all of this stuff, everybody gets a participation award for playing the game. And it's very... I don't think it's a good thing for a game like this. But, I mean, it's really too late for the game. They're set in their ways. There's nothing anybody can do to convince them to, you know, change things, to make it scarier, to make it more difficult, to make it more rewarding. It is what it is. And while the theme of the game is based on the horror genre, it's not a horror game. Not in the slightest. And that's something that I've found in Escape from Tarkov that makes me feel scared, makes me feel excited. And I mean, I'm awful. I'm terrible. But I have an immense amount of fun. It's the most fun I've had in quite a while. I'm sure I'll have more fun when I can aim better and control myself, control my nerves when I get into that situation. But that's going to come with practice. That's going to come with time. It's the exact same thing that I did with Dead by Daylight and mastering the Hag. You know, I practiced with her and did that, but the game was scary at first. I would get surprised and startled by survivors on a constant basis. And then after I got used to it, then the fear was gone. And the same is for every other player, I believe. I can't imagine any player who has, you know, over 50 hours in the game having fear, feeling scared, nervous, you know, having the shakes or anything along those lines out of fear in Dead by Daylight. So we're not making a point. There's nothing the devs can do to change that. There's nothing that they're going to do. But I mean, we as players, we already know that, you know, Dead by Daylight isn't a scary game. It's not a horror game. But if you're interested in having a scare, if you're interested in that feeling accomplished when you escape from a match, I really encourage you to try Escape from Tarkov. Even if shooters aren't it's got a $40 price tag, so maybe, you know, try it if you really, really want to. But, you know, you can do whatever you want. But I took that chance, and I'm very, very happy with my investment. I know this isn't exactly the same kind of video that I usually make, and I'll probably do more Dead by Daylight videos. But honestly, it almost feels like a chore now. I would much rather play Escape from Tarkov, but I am nowhere near good enough to make content for that. Unless people want to see, you know, how badly I can die in the game. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. But I'll do more Dead by Daylight stuff, don't worry. But just know that we might shift. We might do a little shifting at least once in a while. I'll throw a different video up and we'll see how it does. Let me know what you think about that thought. Whether you think, you know, Dead by Daylight is a scary game for you, or if there are other games that does the job better, or, you know, makes it feel exciting and rewarding in some way. I'd be interested. I'd be interested in trying new things at this point. Maybe we all should. Let me know what you think. Comment below. We'll have a little discussion. I know I've been slow with videos. I'll try and pick it up again. But we'll see. Until next time, I'll see you in the fog.